I don't know whether he paid for them. I don't think so. He got them. But is there any way we can...
And baby, I'll buy anything you want me to buy. Baby, I'll even buy you anything you want. Anything you want me to buy. 'Cause you got what I want. 'Cause you got what I want. And you got what I need. And baby, you got what I need. And I want you to give it to me. And I want you to give it to me. Make me say, oh, baby. If you just stay with me and make me say, oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Oh, hey, baby. Just suck it.
Suck it.
Suck it! Suck it to me, baby! Oh! Oh, baby! Baby, don't make me stop! Oh! 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 Oh!
But wait, there's more.
Why do you think you found yourself thinking about him, someone who caused you so much pain?
I get emotional with certain conversations. I get emotional because in the beginning, Ike was very good to me. I thought he was the ugliest person I'd ever seen. I never seen anybody that skinny, but he had a presence. And then I watched him and he got on stage and he started, I thought, oh wow, I want to sing with that band. The record company, he said, here's the record. And I said, who's Tina? He said, you're Tina.
And you said your name is Tina Turner?
Yeah, he says, you're Tina. And I said, Tina Turner? It was really hard to say in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
That is when he took over the money, the name, the whole control.
But wait, there's more.
So you take a situation where you got a good man who is a musician. He grew up hard, saw his daddy lynched, rescued a hoe who was also a pimp from the streets, who was a violent hoe and pimp that shot people, always violent the rest of her life, and then they make her into a saint, and the man that rescued her and was actually putting his money up to help women, they made him the villain. See, that's what they do. They have no respect because you know what they do, and we forget, by any means necessary. We look at this crap and we believe it, and we forget that we will not listen to by any means necessary. Now, see, that's what they do, though.
What's love got to do? Got to do with it. What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do? Got to do with it. Who needs a heart when a heart can be broken?
Yeah, I told you, you're always introducing things that they didn't feature in the Netflix movie, so I always learn a lot when you talk about...
I know. Whole lot of crap they don't bring out.
Gotcha.
Like, for example, what's love got to do with it? Talking about Ike being the one that is the vicious one? No, Tina was a pimp in Memphis. All my old pimp fools that I used to represent were in awe of that woman. They used to say, Tina, little bitty Tina, she was a gangster pimp at 17, had a whole stable of hoes, 2, 3 bottom hoes. Used to pop a cap on
Wait,
it for
are
looking
you talking
cross-eyed.
about my Tina Turner with the beautiful legs?
Yeah, that one.
No way.
She's notorious
No
amongst
way.
the pimps in Memphis where she used to be a pimpette. Gangster pimp. And all the men on my generation in L.A. who thank Ike for keeping us straight and coming around and talking to us whenever he saw us about stay in school, stay drug-free, get your studies together. The most important thing right now you can do is get your mind together. That was Ike. I remember that from being in elementary school all the way through high school. And that violent, rude, crude woman who cussed everybody out, who mistook her for Ike, driving around in that tinted window Rolls Royce twin to Ike's. Yeah, we remember her. But see, that's how they lie about it. You know what Ike was in there for?
I just love Tina Turner, and you're breaking my heart.
That woman is a witch. That woman is a
God.
witch. When we would say, hey, Ike, and if it was Ike, he'd have his homeboy roll the windows down. He'd stop, pull over, talk to us for 2 hours, send his homeboy off to get hamburgers and fries and Cokes, come back and talk to us. If we made a mistake and it was Tina in the Rolls Royce, she'd roll them down, call us all kind of black N-words, little MFs. How dare we talk to her? And she'd go run our little pickaninny selves over. That's how she used to go. This was after the last of the 2 shows we did with him, and his then current wife had aired. He said, Judge, I didn't know they were going to do that to me when I signed that release. I wasn't like that. I said, brother, I know. I was one of those boys in L.A. that you talked to from the 5th grade all the way through high school. You would stop. Man, you must have stopped 7 or 8 times. Me and my homeboys were out there, playing touch football or something, or tackle football in the park, or just hanging out. You were telling us what time it was. You remember that? Yes, sir. How old are you? When I told him, he said, oh, yeah, you would. I thought you were younger than that. I said, man, we thank you. And you know what he was in my court for? He and his wife had a foundation, and it was for battered women. And what they did was they would gift these women money to get away from the abusive man. If they went back to him, it wasn't a gift, it was a loan. I saw that evil witch when I was at a barbecue cookout that some family friends were having 4 doors down from where he and Tina Turner lived up in Baldwin Hills, and he was down on his knees gardening with a trowel. And he got up, took his gloves off, dusted his hands off, came over, shook our hands, talked to us, asked us how the football team was doing since we all played ball for Dorsey High, told us to hang in there. He had kept up with everything, went back over. Tina comes storming out about 20 minutes later, cussing and hollering about why didn't he have these lyrics together? And he was trying to tell her he was trying to think it through, which was what he was trying to do then. She got to cussing. He got to asking her, would you please stop that? There's some kids listening. She cussed us out, walked to the edge of the property, hands on hips, started yelling all kinds of foul crap at us, walked back in. About 15 minutes later, she came out mad again about, I'm not waiting on you coming up with these goddamn, except for lyrics. She picked up one of these real heavy rakes, the kind with the wrought iron head to it that looks like a comb, and then the big shape handle. Fortunately, she picked it up by the rake end. She hauled off and hit him, looked like it was hard as she could across his back. The man flattened onto the ground, said, damn, baby, and then she hit him again. Then she stormed back in the house. Another time, I was in college getting ready to go to law school, and what happened, I was in the boys market on Crenshaw by the railroad tracks in L.A. There were 4 little cute girls that obviously had gone to Dorsey High by the sweatshirts they had on, And they were saying, "Oh, is that Miss Tina? Oh my God, it's Tina Turner." And they said, "Are you sure?" "Yes, it is." So one of them had the temerity to say, "Miss Tina," she turned around, "You little black bitch. How dare you talk to me, little hoe? I'll slap the grease off your face. I didn't give you permission, little slut, to talk to me." And the girl started crying. That's how that witch was.
So, Judge, there
I
were
was
3
20-something
scenes in
then,
the movie.
and I've been seeing her since I was 9, 10 years old do that shit.
You know, a while back, Tina Turner passed away. She died, and I would put something out or say something. You know, from time to time, I've done that. The last time I did it was I did it for Coolio, all right? Because I like Coolio, shit. Okay, I liked him, all right. Tina Turner, not so much, all right. When I was a little kid and shit, when I was a kid, when I was growing up in the fucking '80s and everything, during the '80s, all right. I remember that she was in the Mad Max movie and shit. Third fucking Mad Max movie and shit. And I remember there was a rumor that she was gonna play Storm in the X-Men movie, and I actually saw a drawing of her, you know, that someone had done, you know, like really production art level. And I loved that soundtrack, and I loved her music when she made her comeback in the '80s. And I lived in at that time I was living in a matriarchal household, so like that shit was playing all the time on a record player. Yes, kids, a actual record player, like blasting in my fucking house, blowing this shit up from one end to the other. All right, women blowing up Tina Turner and shit, and a couple other ones. All right, doing aerobics. Yeah, look that up. Yeah, I remember enjoying her music. That was during the time like the British. It was like a British invasion or some shit. You know, so it was a lot of British acts. You know, and she was just intermingled in that. And I never thought about Ike Turner. You know, I never even considered. I had seen him in the past, but that didn't make that connection. Tina Turner was larger than life. You know, and then fast forward to the fucking early '90s, and they had that what some people call a biopic. I call it a biography and shit because you know I had phonics and I know how to pronounce the word properly. It's not a fucking biopic. That's not a fucking word. Okay, it's not a fucking word. You would say biopic, I guess. You know, biopic and shit. You know, get some phonics. You know, every time I hear somebody say that, I think they're ignorant. All right, but yeah, so they made this fucking movie called "What's Love Got to Do with It" and shit. And that was a particularly tumultuous time in my life. It was like around 1993. Like I think it was 1990. Yeah, it was 1993. I'll never forget that fucking movie because it literally traumatized to me and shit. I don't have no qualms about saying that the movie got an emotional reaction out of me. I felt attacked by the movie. Okay, I felt so attacked that later on I was talking to my son, my oldest son, the 3-year-old, and he said, "What's wrong, Daddy?" And I didn't tell. I just, "Oh, go play." You know, it was at a park and shit. And as opportunistic, you know, parent, the other parent, you know, seized upon it and shit, was just driving it home. You know, just really sticking it to me and shit. And you know, then you come to find out that most of that is fiction. Fiction, goddammit. Okay, so much so that you know the studio was worried about catching a case and shit. Okay, let's put it that way. Was worried about catching a case, and she's admitted as much in years. Okay, so Tina Turner croaked. She croaked. I don't give a fuck and shit after listening to that you know podcast from Judge Joe Brown and shit. He ran her, you know, he ran her down. And then I went looking around because, you know, I'm just going to take it from one source and shit. But other people had, like, you know, said things about her that she was rude and shit. And, you know, I'll posit even one thing, even from a matriarchal household that I grew up in the '80s and shit. Um, my own mother would poo poo those stories about Ike and shit. My own mother from the South, the pre-civil rights South, she would poo-poo that, and when pressed, she said that she had gone to a concert back in the days, Ike and Tina, and saw Tina assault the other backup dancers on the stage in an extremely violent manner. So, you know, I just thought it was funny when she said that, you know. And then years later, you know, when I was going through this shit, and, you know, opportunistic person was, you know, trying to drive the knife in, you know, I thought about that. Then my mother said that she wouldn't cape for no man. All right, she wouldn't cape for no man and shit, you know. So yeah, I always disliked Tina after that. I really disliked her, and I found out that she was a miscreant and she dabbled in all kinds of Hollywood debauchery and shit, including religious stuff, the downstairs stuff, if you get my drift, that they actually had a studio and everything, they had a music studio. And they had a poly lifestyle. And they did a lot of crazy shit. Okay, and drugs was the least of it. The usual shit, drugs and drinking and shit was the least of it. And she never cops to that shit. And then I had to see this fucking, clip that I posted today with her talking to Gayle King, and I was reminded when I looked at Gayle King's monkey ass that she is a part of that. She is the descendant from Oprah Winfrey, her butt buddy, her best friend, quotations and mark, that always sits up. Her job is to run black men down. And she never stops doing that. That bitch is like the Terminator from 1984. That first Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator. That's the same mindset that Gayle King has. When it comes to black men, and she's never checked. They never do shit. Okay? Alright? Our community is fucked up. And every time I see shit like this, I feel justified in any commentaries that I put out that might offend some bitch. Okay? I feel justified in this shit, okay? And it's not just I didn't just take Judge Joe Brown's, word for this shit. I went and dug around and looked, and it's all kind of weird shit that they was doing. That people said, like white people too. It was fucking weird. A bunch of weird shit she's into. That she never wanted to be with another black man again and shit because she monkey branched off. She's from the pre-civil rights South too, okay? And a lot of those people down there are real fucking ignorant. They got a slave mentality and shit. And a lot of those motherfuckers, they had the white flight. They came up here to Chicago and some other cities and put down roots and shit, but they kept that same fucking mindset. And today you have their descendants as the people that's doing all the fuckery. All right, all the ridiculous fuckery and shit. All right, that's where you get the genesis of that shit, of cannon father culture in our ethnic community and shit. Thank you, Tina. Okay, rest in peace. I can never say rest in power. Okay, for that fucking movie, and for your continued demonization of a man that had been dead for years. This interview, it looks like was made right before she popped, before she croaked. Alright, I don't like speak ill of the dead, but goddamn, I ain't gonna fucking lie. Sitting up there with Gayle King and shit, running a man down. No one's gonna say anything to Gayle King about that. Hey, don't you think that was shitty? And because she has no filter. I want you to remind you about Gayle King that she conducted that interview with Lisa Leslie and shit, running down Kobe Bryant and his daughter by proxy and shit, before they had even discovered where his corpse was. She was attacking him as he had died. And his corpse hadn't even been recovered and returned to his wife. Alright? Then a lot of these sisters that, well, he was married to a Latina anyway. So fucking what? So fucking what? Also, the same bitch covered for a dude that was doing all kind of, sexual misconduct on the job. Alright? They covered for that guy. They came out swinging and shit. Right? I could keep going down the list with Gayle King. That'd have to be another video. And Tina Turner, I'm sorry, man. I respected you. I loved your music in the 80s and shit. And then I found out that you were ugly too. Right? And I found out you don't want to even go into, the upper room and doing the right thing and shit. I'll say, okay, so I don't know how that's going to turn out up there or downstairs. All right, but you rest in peace, okay? I enjoyed your music. Thank you for your service and shit, but I take a couple of notches off of that shit because of the negative black male propaganda that you participated in with Lawrence Fishburne and shit. He should be ashamed of himself for being in that film.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.